Just then, Jinwoo wakes up in the hospital and is shocked to find that he still has his arm. He remembers how he was dismembered and finds that he still has his leg as well. There is no sign of when he was stabbed in the chest, so he begins to wonder if it was all just a dream. Just then, a guy named Woo arrives, and he explains that he is the manager of the Hunters Association surveillance team, the purple, spiky-haired guys named Kong. But they don't explain why they are there. They do reveal that Jinwoo was unconscious for 3 straight days. Also, Juhee and Songshai are both alive. Songshai did lose his arm, however, so he may have to retire as a hunter. Juhee was seriously traumatized, so she is undergoing psychiatric care. She isn't doing very well, so Woo doubts she will continue as a hunter. Only 6 people survived the double dungeon they discovered that day. Although a hunter's job is always a very dangerous one, it is rare to see such a tragic event as what happened that day. And one thing is very strange. When another guild arrived at the scene after being alerted by the survivors, all they found was Jinwoo. There were no traces of the temple or the statues the survivors described. The entire situation is incredibly unbelievable. If it weren't for everyone's stories lining up perfectly, suspicion would be cast on the survivors. That isn't the case, and Woo has a theory. He turns to Jinwoo and asks him if he has had a second awakening. Woo explains that a hunter's power is determined as soon as it is awakened, and it never changes from that point on. However, on extremely rare occasions, a hunter can go through a second awakening. This rare event lets them exceed their previous limits up to A or even S rank. Jinwoo gets really excited to hear this, and Woo reveals that he brought a manometer to test Jinwoo's power. Woo thinks about how if they really ran into an Instaka level magic beast like the survivors said they did, then there's no way a low-level hunter could survive. There wasn't a single trace of monsters left behind, so this must mean that a strong hunter was present. Woo determines that the most likely explanation is that Jinwoo underwent a second awakening. Jinwoo eagerly wants to hear the results of his mana test, but the results are not good. Woo explains that they have made a mistake, and they leave. Jinwoo only managed to get a score of 10, and even E rank usually get at least 70. A score of 10 basically makes Jinwoo a civilian. Unfortunately, the dungeon has vanished and can't be explored again, so the explanation for how Jinwoo managed to survive remains a mystery. Jinwoo was disappointed by that entire interaction, but just wonders why those guys didn't ask about the thing floating in the air. He wonders if he's the only one that can see it, and he realizes that it's a touch panel. Jinwoo remembers the message he received about becoming a player, but his thought is interrupted by his sister. She was really worried about him, so he just apologizes and asks if she can see the panel. She can't see it, so he asks her if she knows how opening messages and games usually works. Gina thinks he has gone crazy, but Jinwoo reminds her that she used to play games all the time. She gives him the obvious answer, as he simply needs to check his inbox. Just then, a notification reveals that Jinwoo has received the daily quest, which is strength training. After Gina leaves, our boy opens up a whole bunch of these panels.
まさかこれ、俺にしか見えないのか。何のことだかさっぱりなんだ。
They reveal that the system is designed to assist the development of the player, and failure to comply with the system may result in a penalty. Rewards have also been delivered, but Jinwoo has no clue what any of this means. Jinwoo confirms his daily quest, and it reveals several goals to reach for doing push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and running. However, failure to complete the daily quest will result in a penalty. Jinwoo begins to wonder if it's a joke since he is in the hospital and doesn't have the energy for any of that. Outside, Woo reports to the chairman that Jinwoo did not seem to have a second awakening. The entire incident still has many unanswered questions, so it will be marked as a special case and further evaluated. Elsewhere, Choi Jong informs Chae-hye that she will be participating in a B-rank raid as an instructor. This raid will serve as a test and practical training for new recruits, and he couldn't think of a better instructor. Chae-hye has doubts about how well she can teach. Choi Jong tells her to just fight as usual, and everyone will learn from her example. He goes on to explain that the Hunters Guild is one of the 5 largest guilds in the country. The problem is that they aren't very special when compared internationally. Hunters are not able to increase their ranks individually, but their collective combatability can be honed. Elsewhere, Another gate opens up, and observers wish the hunters would show up already. At the hospital, Jinwoo is fast asleep as the clock strikes midnight. A notification reveals that he didn't complete his quest, and the ground begins to shake. Jinwoo shockingly finds himself in a desert, and he is horrified by a giant caterpillar monster.
夢なのか。さっきまで病室。嘘だろ。
Another notification reveals that he has received a penalty quest, and the goal is to survive for 4 hours. Back at the hospital, some nurses see that Jinwoo is nowhere to be found. That is because our boys, in some other dimension, running for their lives. The giant caterpillar is closing in on him, and he's shocked to see that there are more than one of them. As if that weren't bad enough, Jinwoo still has 2 hours to go. To the hospital, the nurses continue searching for him. Back with Jinwoo, he doesn't have much time left to go, but he is at his limit from all the running. The caterpillar is just about to get him, but the time is up, and Jinwoo finds himself back at the hospital. A notification reveals that he successfully completed the penalty quest, but Jinwoo just pukes and passes out. He receives another reward, but our boys are out cold. Sometime later, Jinwoo tells his sister that he is healing well and he might be able to go home soon. For now, he gets dressed in his best tracksuit and heads outside. Elsewhere, Juhee receives a request to join a raid as a D rank has appeared. The other guilds are not available, but Juhee can't get herself to agree to go. However, Juhee gets some good news, as she is told that Jinwoo has awakened from his coma. Juhee nervously goes to visit him, but some nurses point out that he's running again, just like he has been every day since waking up. Outside, Jinwoo thinks about how it's been 4 days since he regained consciousness, and he has learned a few things. First, he is not hallucinating the pop-up windows. Also, when he completes the daily quest, he gets 3 types of rewards. One is full recovery, which he uses now to get rid of his exhaustion from running. The next are ability points. He can distribute the points to whatever ability he chooses. For now, he adds some strength, and the difference is very noticeable, as he can literally tell that he has more strength now. Furthermore, he also has skill and inventory screens. Jinwoo takes a moment to think about how strange his life has just become, and points out how similar it is to a game. Jinwoo didn't realize while he was messing with all his screens, but everyone around him was just staring at him. Jinwoo's final daily quest reward is a random loot box. Today's random thing is a mysterious key. So far, he has only gotten useless stuff like pens and bandages, so this key is quite a surprise. A notification reveals that the key is for teleporting to an instance dungeon, and it gives a location. Jinwoo has no clue what an instance dungeon is, but based on what's been happening so far, he assumes that it will be an event to help him get stronger. In this world, gate opening is a common thing, so they even have a gate report on the news to keep track of all the recently opened gates. Jinwoo goes to see his mom and has a memory from when he found her unconscious. It was discovered that she has an internal sleep disease, which is also known as final rest. It's a disease that came into existence with the appearance of the gates, and there are theories that it is caused by continual exposure to mana. The best modern medicine can do for those affected is life support. Jinwoo worked hard to save money and eventually qualified as a hunter. He informed Gina that he would be able to afford their mother's treatment soon, but she was worried about how dangerous it is to be a hunter. Jinwoo assured her that things would be okay from now on and told her to leave everything to him. However, it would soon become clear that Jinwoo was useless in battle, and he would never get a cut of any rewards because of it. Things are different now as Jinwoo works hard to train his body. He puts all his ability points into strength and shows his progress by showing an apple who's boss. Jinwoo is determined to get stronger and heads to the location from the key notification. Jinwoo is prepared with everything he needs and determines that he will simply run away if things get dangerous, like they did during the raid. When Jinwoo pulls out his key, a keyhole appears out of nowhere. Jinwoo uses the key to unlock it, and then some mysterious gate appears. After walking through it, a notification reveals that he has entered the instance dungeon. The exit is sealed off behind him, but normal people don't even notice it. It becomes clear that he is in some separate dimension, and for instance, dungeons are not like the regular kind. He assumes that it's more like a red gate, but he doesn't know much about them since he has never been in one. Jinwoo realizes that he won't be able to simply run like he planned, and another notification pops up. It reveals that the only way for him to exit the dungeon is by defeating the boss or by using a teleportation stone. Jinwoo thinks about how he couldn't even beat an E-rank beast before, but now he must clear an entire dungeon by himself. He wonders if he can really do it, but he determines that he doesn't have a choice. As he makes his way, Jinwoo quickly starts to lose confidence. This is for good reason, as a few goblins appear before him. Jinwoo gets a flashback from when he was stabbed and these goblins attacked him. These little monsters are relentless, and they attack wildly, but Jinwoo does well to evade and block them. Jinwoo is eventually overwhelmed, but he gets furious and pierces one of the goblins. Jinwoo gets more confident after defeating one, so he ends up destroying the two right after. Jinwoo can clearly tell that he has gotten stronger, but another beast shockingly appears. This thing instantly shatters his dagger.
俺強くなってる
And Jinwoo is able to sense that this monster is way stronger than the goblins. As this thing stares our boy down, Jinwoo realizes that his legs won't move. He wonders if he is afraid and is confused since he doesn't think he was traumatized by the raid. Jinwoo's legs continue to tremble, and the monster begins its attack. Jinwoo dodges at the last second, but the thing manages to scratch him. Jinwoo has no healer with him, so if he gets injured, he is done for. This monster howls as it smells blood and it charges right at Jinwoo. I appreciate you viewing my anime recap, Unruly Family. Please let me know what you think about the third part of Solo Leveling by liking, sharing, subscribing, and leaving a comment.